My favorite people's in the house. Cool.
I'm feeling better than I did on Tuesday. I was a little rough.
Nice. Here we go.
Who else we got?
What a glorious green background.
Oh, yeah, my Zoom, my virtual background. I love it.
Yeah, it feels refreshing.
Thank you. Yeah, it is nice, isn't it?
Cool. We have hello from
Oh, you,
Chaussette.
what's that?
We have a hello from
You have
Chaussette.
Shazette?
Chaussette, yeah. It means socks because obviously she's loaded. Cool. It's
Oh,
only it's only us who RSVP'd on the little forum. So let's open the space and then we see what we chat about.
okay.
Father, Mother God, creator of all that is, thank you for our hearts. Thank you for all that we are, all that we are becoming. We're asking the winds, the water, the fire, the earth to support us in the highest and best. Oh, yeah, let's take a moment to find our hearts and just take a mental picture of where I am right now, recognizing that we are present together. And this is a sacred space that we are entering. So imagine the energy coming from your heart and rooting itself into the floor, finding this energy going through the foundation of the house, the different layers of crust of the planet, all the way into the center of the earth. We found ourselves supported, cared for, and we remember that we have this birthright to create. You can imagine a beautiful light coming from the center of the earth all the way to the sole of your feet, your ankles, your knees, gently ascending through the vertebrae. Every single chakra is being touched, opened, and activated. It finds its motion one way and then the other way. And then you find this beautiful ball of light above your head, and you imagine that you're in this ball of light, continuing to go up past the roof, past the clouds, past the ozone layer, past the solar system. Imagine going through different layers of light and darkness, and then gently finding this golden light, and your soul feels at home. But you don't stay there. You find at the speed of light, your thoughts are traveling and finding this pink jelly-like substance, and you imagine becoming compassion. You're one with compassion. And then you allow this beautiful bright white light, and you recognize that you've always been the light. And you are one with the creation, and creation is one with you. And everything is possible. We can send a group healing for ourselves and for anyone who will be joining or listening later. Creator of all that is, it is requested to send unconditional love in support of this healing. Creator, show me. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. And you can allow witnessing your connection going even higher with the support of the group, regardless of time. And then allowing receiving deeply in every area of your life and physical body that wants to shift in this moment. We're going up, rinsing our energy, and gently opening our eyes. Yeah, welcome and thank you for coming. It brings me a lot of joy to to do these little gatherings and seeing how it transforms. And what I thought I would love to talk about, if you're into it, is and maybe we can have a conversation so it doesn't all come from me, but I want to talk about dreams, and we think of manifestation as a way to move forward, but just a little discernment on that. But maybe you can tell me, like, Mary, you came first, like if there's something that you wanted to bring to the table. We were going to do the practice event, on the root of relationship drama. And we had to reschedule, but maybe we can, have a little bit of a teaser with that, just so that the next one is a success also. And or if there's specific things. And then same thing, Marianette, like if there's something that a conversation, that could benefit each other. I think there's one thing that you do that's really great is like you're gathering people. You have this WhatsApp group. That's how we originally met. So if there's, you see, it doesn't have to come from me, right? It's like I want it to be a dialogue. So I'm trying to find how to lead that space that feels safe and that people find value in. So yeah, maybe Mary, you want to be first?
Okay. Well, so I have this WhatsApp group and all theta healers are welcome to it. The group that's in there now is kind of dropped off, so I've been having trouble trying to get it going again, but it still sits there, you know. And it's just finding the time to go out and find other theta healers to come into it where we can meet once a month. And what we were doing, and I'm sorry, your name is Marie? Yeah, yeah, okay. What we were doing, Marie, was we would do a gathering like this. We would go up to the seventh plane, and then we would just wait. And each person, creator would speak through each person, and we would do downloads, and we would do whatever was on creator's agenda for the day. So that was my vision, was to stay connected to other theta healers. Um, in terms of dreams, I have a very big one that I'm working on. And I'm still sitting here thinking about how a conversation about that could benefit you guys. But um, I guess what I learned this morning in my own quiet meditative time is that in the things that feel chaotic and the things that aren't going the way I would like, to hold on to that. I turn back to that vision. I turn back to that dream. I turn back to that because that came from inside myself, and we are one with the Creator, and that means it also came from Creator. So my theme for this month has been working on, I have a theme every month. In April, it was expansion. So I directed my intention, I had directed my focus, I had directed my reading, I directed my actions towards how can I expand. And this month is wholeness. So I'm doing a lot of reading around how we are already whole, we are already all the things that we want. We are already the accomplishment of our dreams, we are already our money, we are already our abundance, we are already our health, we are already our wholeness, and it's a matter of embodying it. And so I've been trying to play with how can I embody wholeness? And that will make me a better theta healer. And how do you build into the body, not just the intellect, the truth of who we already are, the truth of our divine nature? That those things already exist and we are already those things. And part of what we do in theta is clear the blocks to that.
Yeah, I love it.
Mhm.
I love
So,
this word embodied because
Mhm.
I always say like it's embodied knowledge. So this speaks to me. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it is embodied knowledge. And so it's also embodying the divine. It's also embodying those virtues, all those attributes of Creator. So we become more of them, and we live them, and we act them, and we think them, and we just come back to our true divine nature, which is that wholeness. So that's what I'm doing in my individual work right now on my journey to get theta healing clients and build out this great big vision that I'm holding around 7 I Ams. I call them the 7 I Ams. So it's a program, and it's theta healing, and it's chakra balancing, and it's aura healing, and all these other modalities I do. And it's leading young people to become leaders, to be sustainers of the planet.
Great.
So I got that clarity this week. That's my target audience.
Yeah, that's exciting. I love what you're saying because I know like that there's a lot of theta healing classes and there's the practitioner classes and then there's the instructor classes. But what you're discussing is really what we're working on in the DNA4 classes, which is, a handheld of theta healing teachers have had access to the, latest knowledge that Vienna is sharing. So I love that you really have a knack around like how we work with virtues. And it's definitely that, like holding these virtues at the same time, then your capacity expands. Yeah. And then another thing to consider, which from the beginning that she mentioned, there's going to be DNA4, I knew in my heart it was going to be about community. And it wasn't, I only did the DNA4 part one. It wasn't explicitly shown, except that we're sharing knowledge with one another. But something else to consider is that when we have, just as I have, right, this vision that is bigger than ourselves, it comes with connecting with our soul family, right? When we do you and your inner circle, is like who has earned our trust? And then because we're together creating a dream that is bigger than ourselves, it comes easier because it doesn't have to be about one empowered spiritual person, and so I feel like what I'm also working on, like, the vision that you're showing, I think a lot of people have some of these similar dreams, right? Of bringing community together and supporting people. And it's nice to have clarity, on who, right? Because society, the third plane, is telling us, well, to do, quality marketing, you have to know who you're talking to. And then also, I feel like you did a great job of like taking your time to figuring out what you like to do, who you like to, and then in the right time, these answers come. And maybe also, Mary, you can speak to that, because I feel like sometimes people are like learning how to support others, and then they rush to a conclusion, and maybe the most logical, answer is the people that you're meant to be helping is the people you used to be. But in reality, I don't know, like for example, for me, like it's not like I used to be, I still am, right? But I'm a performing artist, as somebody who cared deeply about beauty, about channeling spirituality through my art to touch people. But what I find is in my classes and in the one-on-one work, it's not really artists that I help. It's more people who are professional practitioners and professional teachers, educators. So I think it's nice to allow the creator to show us who we resonate with, the vibration that works, and then it helps us getting to that vision. And so I love the vision that you're describing because we all have similar ones, all three of us. So that's a great topic to bring to the table. And I think it comes easier when we are connected with the soul family and we support one another. So it's really exciting to see the direction that you're headed to. So thank you. Yeah. Mm.
Well, I'll just say this, and then I certainly want Marie to bring her dream forward. Um, I've been working on this for a while, and I've struggled. And where I'm at right now is surrender and not getting wrapped up in that or giving up on it, sitting in the angst of that, moving through the creative blocks when something isn't coming to me. But yes, then surrendering to what creator wants to bring when creator wants to bring it. And this week, what I got from Creator was longevity for the planet. And so that took me a little investigation into, well, who cares about the planet? That's going to be a great audience for my I ams. And this gives me a focus for how to talk to them through those I ams and bring them to their own divinity, as well as heal the planet. Um, so I'm looking into Generation Z. I'm looking into the new Generation Alpha because they have different values and they have different demographics and psychographics, and that's all the marketing stuff. But it's what is occurring to me today in the process of staying open that Creator can bring whoever Creator wants to bring for me to help.
That's great. And so just from the perspective of Theta Healing, what you're discussing, it's the information that we work on when we do the DNA3 training. You know, when it's no longer about our beliefs, that then it's really about working on what's beyond that, what we do when we're working together, when we connect together. And yeah, so DNA3 is something to think about. Mary, Mary Miller, do you have any thoughts?
So many thoughts. Like, first of all, I still feel like I'm in a dream right now because I did a sweat lodge last night. It was my second, and it was apparently a very intense one. Um, so that's interesting, just being in this like whole different space. But Fiona talked about dreams versus manifesting. I forget which class. And that really stuck with me, the fact that as a Virgo, I may have had a tendency in my manifesting to try to control things or have it happen a particular way or have it be a laundry list, as opposed to literally a daydream of what my life could look and feel like. And I've been really reading into that lately, especially like, I have a program that I'm trying to launch tonight and we're going to see where it goes. But I'm so much more relaxed about it than I have been about so many other things. And it's boundaries for business owners. It's for like literally anybody, but it's anyway. The other thought is I let my
Wait. Don't anyway us. Just
well,
give
no,
it a
no,
second. But yeah, but give us
right,
a little
and
more.
okay, so I will tell you a little bit about the program.
Thank you.
It's actually came from working with my students and realizing what they needed. So my book actually split into two books. So the program is the workbook only. And it's like, what are the beliefs that stop you from setting boundaries? And I broke it down into like 6 different types of boundaries, or 7, I forget. Yeah, it's 7 because there's 8 chapters. Um, yeah, so I'm excited because I don't know who is going to be in this program. I just know that there will be enough people that I'll have enough time to write my book.
Yeah.
And I
Nice.
might not have to teach this summer unless people really want me to. So we'll see. But yeah, it's exciting to be this calm, if that makes sense. I haven't felt this calm about income since I did theater,
Oh,
if that
wow.
makes sense. Because remember, I talked before about how, like, before I decided to be serious about theta, it was still fun. And art was fun. I never cared about money. And I think because of having it be a dream, I've gotten back into that same energy of the money will always be there. I don't have to think about it. I'm just following my bliss. But I've learned how to combine following my bliss, following my joy, and being a very responsible business owner as a theta healing teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need both.
Yeah, it just took me a while to get back there.
Yeah, so I love what you're saying. Like, so I thought it's interesting for me to talk about that subject because I feel that sometimes, people forget about their dreams, or they think it's like dreams has a bad rep, right? It's just, it looks like it's somebody who's a little whimsical, who's not practical. So the way that I was looking at it when I was meditating this morning is like manifesting is more about learning how to be in motion, right? It's about learning how to drive the car. We are directing the energy of the creator based on what we're feeling comfortable to receive. And like what you were saying, right? Following the bliss, for me, that has a lot to do with the divine timing. Because if we just love it, for example, I just love writing. The way that my body bubbles up is incredible. And so I haven't felt that about a lot of different things, right? I love teaching, but it's natural. It's not outside my comfort zone. I just, it's a pleasure to connect and everything. But writing is a next level. It brings me delight, right? So following the bliss for me, it's this idea of like, if we tune into the joy, it gives us a good direction about where we're headed and who we actually are. But for me, the dreams, it's even something different because it's some, like you were saying, Marianette, it's something that I feel was planted inside of us, right? Our soul, it's like there's no way we have a dream and then the creator is not gonna, pay attention, or if that's our dream, there's no way we have this dream and it's not gonna be brought to us. Like that would be so cruel, right? But I think that people with their brain, they just decide to dismiss their dream. I think it's a pandemic. I
Mhm.
think that people, it is, I don't think it's about courage. I think that we've we haven't been properly educated on what dreaming is, because an artist is supposed to have imagination, to have vision. And the reality is, when Vaina talks about divine timing, right, it's all all that we are, all that we are becoming, it's already here, but it's very unique to each individual. There's not going to be 20 of these people doing the same dream of us, like us. So it's a very unique thing, our dream. And it doesn't mean that if I'm like, oh, I want to be an actress, it doesn't mean that this is the dream. This might be the thing that gets me to the next step. And then it's really the directing that is part of the divine timing. But if we're not following and allowing our heart to just kind of swell in the direction of our desires, what are we doing? Right? And it's the same with relationships, where it's like people like learn to like diminish themselves and have to go back to compromising. And so I think that I want to know so much more about dreaming, because I think people have forgotten that if it comes from the creator, if it comes from our soul, it's already ours. And so I think that like we were saying before, right, manifesting is about taking action and moving forward. And all this theta healing, all this practice is like embodied knowledge, but the dream, it has to be present every day. And so in my personal life, right, I have found myself thinking, well, that's the dream for after. But that thinking doesn't work. So yeah, I want to investigate more, in how to really harness back. And I don't think it's about faith. I don't think it's about working harder or thinking better. I think it's just about being diligent, and nourishing our heart what it needs. Because if we have that dream, where do you think it's coming from? And so I think that our dreams, they might be more urgent than what we think, because if we keep like spiraling on this belief that the dream comes later, or I'm not worthy of my dream, I have to be reasonable, this is just going to be who we are. And so I think we have to remember to like cultivate and nourish these dreams, and that it's inevitable that the dream, because otherwise we wouldn't have this dream. So it's like I want people to start to be a little more serious about dreaming.
I love
Yeah,
that. I'm taking notes. This is good stuff.
thank you. I'm still learning. That's why I wanted to bring it here, so that I could just kind of like formulate it for myself, because I want to talk about dreaming in a very rigorous way. Because, the reason also is like, a couple of webinars ago, I was translating for Vienna, and I felt guilty. Like she was like, some of you guys have to upgrade your manifestations. You have to be a little more extravagant. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, wow, I'm already living the dream that I manifested 3 years ago. What am I doing? I'm stalling. And so I'm not saying that I'm not visionary or I'm not ambitious, but I'm just not really taking action to allow the rest of the stuff. And so I'm complacently living the past dream. And that's like, it's sad. It's not sad. It's just like I needed a little kick in the butt. But I think because we're theta healing practitioners or theta healing teachers, I think in my opinion, it's a responsibility to fulfill these dreams because if no one does it, then we're not creating this infectious world where everyone gets to blissfully step into their desires. And I think that's in terms of leadership, that's something we have to be doing because otherwise, if we're not walking the talk, and if we don't believe what we're saying is true, which is you change how you think, and then life meets you where you are. And so I don't think we're in a position where we're allowed to compromise on our dreams because we're ruining it for everyone else.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
And along those lines, so what else I got about my dream? Well, others have come before me working in the space of, I just call it the industry, the alternative wholeness, health, holistic, all the modalities working in that space while others have gone before me. I've been asking Creator, how do I take this dream? How do I plug and play into that? Where is that? I don't have that answer yet, but it's my responsibility to continue those legacies for the survival and the longevity of the planet. So it's my responsibility to take my dream, which has a place, and my focus is the healing trust work, the chakra balancing, the aura balancing, and all that, and the theta healing. For now, maybe there will be other modalities, I don't know. But it's my responsibility to continue the great work that's already been done in the industry.
Cool. So what virtue is that? What virtue are you working on?
I think there's a number of virtues. I think there's responsibility. I think there's faith. I think there's persistence. I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
I was getting accountability, so it's great. Yeah, I'd like to ask a question. You have something else, Mary?
I do. Well, just the big thing I've been learning about dreams lately, and it goes back to the art, right? Because the thing is, when I had my theater company, I did not always take much counsel around what would be my next artistic endeavor. It would literally be like a transmission through the heart. And I found myself when we were talking about the family dream of moving to Europe, I found myself like planning my dream over around what I thought other people wanted instead of just trusting that my dream is shared by others.
Mm.
Right. And I'm just like, and it was so interesting, like, because I'm like, oh no, we're dreaming this thing together. And I'm like, but I don't actually want that. And then when I'm really honest with myself about what I honestly want versus what I think someone wants of me, it's pretty huge.
Oh, I love it. I also love when Vienna says, right, some other people's divine timing is to support yours. And to me, it was like, oh, I don't have to do it all alone. It's just such a beautiful thought, right?
And if I can comment, because you were talking about DNA foreign community, and I feel other people in the room too, we're so used to being the leader of the community and being in charge and creating community. And the amazing lesson I've been getting this year is I've been being in community in a completely different way, where I'm literally in charge of nothing for the first time ever, and understanding how powerful it is to not be in charge. But also, it's helped me realize how much I overdo things. And if I would simplify, people would get a bigger impact.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good for us to be on both sides of the community. Yeah, it's been fascinating.
I love this. I have seen what you're talking about, the simplifying. I have seen you embody that. Like I love because you're like going live like once a day or something. Like I feel that there is it's it's so right there that it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be complicated how everything is coming. So I feel that you've been practicing it. So and I can feel like how much peace you're getting from it.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So maybe like because we all have like because it's a topic, it's the community, right? Like for me, it's like stuff that I keep going down, not the rabbit hole, but in sessions, right? Because I have a lot of cousins, right? And I used to live a little further away and stuff. So, it could be part of my divine timing, or it could be a lack that I'm feeling because I want to belong, right? And so at some point, coming from a different country in New York City, you find yourself wanting to participate maybe in the theater world, right? Or maybe in the indie film industry, or maybe with the other theta healers, who are teaching and everything, or all kind, or people from my neighborhood, or people who are writers and playwrights. So I would work on myself, and one day I was like, I have a little notebook with dreams,
Yeah.
just keeping it real. And it just
Yeah.
I was working on some beliefs, and the fact that I belonged, like I didn't see I belonged, and then I was like, I am so part of all these different communities. I'm so rich in belonging, but I couldn't see it. So my feeling still wasn't there. And so I don't know where I am in my healing around that, because I do have this hunger, and at the same time, when I'm working on myself still now, I realize that there are some people that I'm not necessarily like aligning with. They're a little too business minded, or they're a little um so spiritual that it's just kind of like let's keep it real. So it's just I'm finding information about who I am because of who I feel drawn to, and the simplicity and the down to earthness and the just kind, I like kind people. And so I don't know if you have anything to help me, but based on some of your experiences. I know, Mary, we did this beautiful article. It made me so happy to collaborate with Julia and you to, to talk about friendship, and how we collaborate in our careers, and how important it is. So I know that you've been sort of part of so many different communities and things like that. So maybe if there's anything you think I need, or a channel for flow, I'll take it.
I mean, the biggest thing is just to know that you don't have to do anything to earn a place in community, right? That it's so funny that you said like, oh, do I belong? I'm like, you're such a New Yorker, and I mean that in the highest and best way. Like, of course you belong. Um, yeah, and I love how you also referring back to when you said it's your divine, sometimes it's someone's divine timing to help you. That so many times we go into community thinking about what we have to do for community and not what community does for us.
Mhm.
And that it's such a great way to get healing in a very passive way, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yep.
I guess what you're referring to, like when Amma comes into New York City, right? Amma is here. She's looking over. I love her.
Hello.
She's the coolest. Like, I love how she walks. She's tiny. And then I saw her walk, and I'm like, I want to do like that. She walks with such dignity and grace, and then at the end of whatever, blessing she does, like, the third day, she hugs people for hours and hours. And then she stands up and she does a blessing, and basically she throws rose petals at people. I'm like, that's the job. Like I want that. But except that I think it's absolutely awesome. And I just love the energy of that, being part of that community, like just being in service and helping. and just connecting with people who are generous. At first, the first couple of years that she came to New York, I was introduced to her coming to New York as from one of my yoga teacher who's doing yin yoga. So she was really, really helpful. Along in the beginning, I was doing Theta Healing in 2005. She was teaching me yin style yoga. So somehow she gave me the depth that Theta Healing classes without a deep, powerful, you know, you need to find that depth. So I got it from Amber, and then she introduced me to Amma. So at first I was like, these people are weird. Like there was people dressed all kinds of ways. So I was a little judgmental. And then eventually that judgment, people come as they are. And now I'm a lot more tolerant of people's presentation and the way in which people want to associate with spirituality. So yeah, the ease of participating in community, I think the best I connected um with Amma's kind of like people who were just so into helping others and know that it's important. Yeah.
Mm.
What about you, Marianette? Community.
Um,
Tell me what I need. I want more.
so how would you describe your key struggle with that?
Oh, we do a session. Um, no, it's fine. I think that the people that are linked, in this little forum, I think the people who are more passionate, they're actually all teachers. So I think that they don't recognize that it's for them too. So there's people that are colleagues of mine, who've done all the trainings in person in different places, and I know over the years. So I think that maybe that's one of the things that I need to make clear, among professional practitioners and teachers. That's why I changed the name to like Coffee with Flo. Because usually we do check in on Zoom once in a while, but wouldn't it be merrier if all of us is like, show me your baby, what was the last class, what was the takeaways you had? So maybe it's the mismatch of the different people. People have done only the basic class, and people who've been a certificate of science for many years, like, but it's just the glue is Flow, but it's not coming yet.
Okay. So what are you most passionate about in your audiences?
Um, I feel I feel like what's exciting for me is to see people's dreams unfold, because sometimes you do sessions and like you clear some space, but I think I'm really impressed with what people are able to create for themselves. So that it's like I don't watch TV, and I feel like this is the world to me when people are doing, because sometimes it's funny, right? You do a session and you like boom boom, and you find some downloads and you share them, but then when it crystallizes for people, and then the person is like, but you told me, and in my head I'm just like, I know, but you the one who lived it. So that's kind of like the bliss of accompanying people one-on-one, like people who did the 3 months program. It feels majestuous because a lot of times they're receiving, like, things are clicking in much more areas than what they actually want to work on, because we do have 3 months of weekly sessions, and things do arise. So it's been very impressive. So I think, yeah, I think it's the joy of over, like, surpassing people their own expectations, and me being like, it's not me who told, like, I was channeling this because the creator let me know. And so I'm like, I'm supposed to know that. I feel like it's like watching TV, like seeing people like experiencing something bigger than they didn't know was possible.
So in your community, how do you bring your love of service with your love of the dream, with your love of recognizing the dream in others, with your love of helping them see the dream in themselves? How do
Yeah,
you
that's a
bring
good
all
question. Yeah, thank you. Because, in a way, the reason why I created this space, which there was different versions of it before, but it was because when you do teach, then people reach out to you personally, and I would get overwhelmed very easily if it's a text message or WhatsApp and email, because it felt that I don't have the time outside of classes to do basically customer service, right? But however, if it's on the community and somebody has a question about translation or about something specific, then I could take the pleasure of writing for half an hour a nuanced answer that will help somebody else in 6 months. So I feel like it's been not really connecting to the dream, but more I feel that I'm building a resource. And the other thing that I think the reason why I thought it was important, because the social media, it feels it's nice. Like a lot of teachers are connected through Facebook, but in terms of ethics and also I have a career in the arts, and so I want things to be private. I want things to be very spiritual, and I want it to be unedited, like really what it is. So because it's a private space, then we can be there. So you see how my energy is. Indeed, I haven't like connected much of what delights me to being used on the forum, because in a way that's what happens when we work one-on-one. And in the trainings, it's about empowering people so that they're capable of providing this service for others. So yeah, I can thank you for that question, because I can bring a little bit more, challenges, about the 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 manifestation and how people connect to their dreams. So one of the things that I was doing, I was imagining, I tried different spaces, like, people swapping sessions, I tried tag people in questions. And maybe in the beginning that I was using the forum, I didn't quite know how it worked. So that then maybe sometime people may have been overwhelmed by email notifications and stuff. But some understanding goes a long way. And, if we're looking at it together and that everyone can have a positive part of it, it's okay to give it a chance. So yeah, I think that I do not have at the moment a clear answer about how I've been, connecting people to their dreams, because to me it's been sort of like the support outside the classes. And the reality is I haven't, the people that I'm doing sessions are clients. I haven't really invited them there because I'm it's not that I'm afraid, but I'm thinking it might be too advanced for them, or it might be a space that's different, or a space for clients, and stuff, because it's really for the professional practitioners and teachers. But maybe I can change that maybe. So yeah, thank you for that question. It's helpful.
your last question for you? If you had that focus, what would
Mhm.
it look like?
Focused on people realizing their dreams. What
Well,
would
any
it,
focus.
pardon me?
Any focus? What does focus look like for you in this context?
In this context, it looks like 10 people who are just just pros in that space, and that are working together, that are contributing things that is like then, conversations for different things online. Like it's just kind of like feels like people who are using this as a springboard for informing their idea, formulating their things, so that then it's kind of like an intermediate packet to what we put out. Um, friendships and um because I could see what Vina is doing, and like she has all the translators collaborating together, but it's happening naturally, just people's affinities. So I think it's people recognizing the affinities, and it's a collective energy. It's a way that if people are finding who they are and they're mindful of listening, what's what's the way in which we communicate here? We're communicating with colleagues. We're not communicating with necessarily prospective clients. So I want, because the way that I see this work for myself or for others, like I feel like I'm building this universe for me because I want to look out for my friends, right? So that if I'm very successful in the, arts or something, then I have this, I can do whatever I want. I just turn a button and like it's just success for everyone. So to me, the way that this word works is that everyone's financially well. People are doing well. So I think that's once we have this kind of like thing that gels, where people trust one another, where people know each other's strengths, um, then I think it creates that abundant, positive, comfortable, this is who we are kind of thing. And it was interesting because I'm going on a tangent, but still, uh, at some point last year, there was somebody who came to visit me from Lithuania. She was a theater director. She was looking for everything, in New York, and we met this gentleman from Australia who had a collective. And I'm just fascinated by the word. I know it's the right energy. My theater training is like the notion of being part of an ensemble. So I love the philosophy behind it. And it was her birthday, and we went to have whiskey. And so we had a like long conversation with this guy, and I was grilling him, asking questions because I was like very interested in what he had created and very fascinated. Like, how could he get these people together? And I'm just, my heart like kind of like got so much like soothing energy because I realized he was doing all the work. It was okay. It was okay as the leader to kind of step back and let other people because how could it be a democracy and everyone put in the same, like it just, so it's okay for your own ideals to kind of create something where you're back. So that to me was very eye-opening because the word collective is correct for healers, for people who are powerful, who are becoming empowered. So it's very important to me. So that's something you could see how like this is an idea, right, Marianette, with some of the question you asked, it kind of like lights me up. The fact that it is a collective and everyone is like mutual respect, but we don't have to have somebody at the top. And so I don't know how to create that, but I've seen it in different places. And I feel that this listening, that when there is trust, when we know somebody for many years, and you're like, it just, then these collaborations, they can happen organically. And I would like this to be rich, like a fertile ground for that, so this is what's in my heart. Because it's not about being empowered. And Vayana talks about this. It's not one ascended person who goes to the creator on their own. It's always groups of people, who ascend together. So I get that. It is soul family. And yeah, and it's important to me that everyone find their voice and their place and stuff. And I'm not sure how to do it. I haven't done it before, but maybe past lives. I don't know, Mary, would you? So yeah, thank you for that. I think I was closer to an answer for that last question. So thank you so much for asking it, Marianette.
Last question, and then
Another last, that's fine. Yes.
what clarity do you have now?
On what?
Everything you just said. What's clearer now for you?
Um, um, that I can love myself and take it one
Okay.
step at a time, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Cool. We have 10 minutes. So what do you think would be most helpful? We can do a little meditation. Maybe, Mary, do you want to lead us, like take us home and make sure we're happy and fed in our spirit, however you wanna?
Yeah, let me noodle on this. Like I said, I'm still halfway in a dream. It's really fascinating.
Do you want to talk more then about the sweat lodge experience? Just
Yeah, it's funny because, we spend so much time in theta, like releasing, like that we have to suffer, go through these hard things. Then I put myself into a space. And I think part of it is that we need to release ourselves from from the belief that we have to go through things that are emotionally challenging or that inner turmoil. But I do believe there is some beauty to purposefully challenging your physical body because there's a different lesson there. But that is different from the ancestral belief that you have to suffer.
yeah.
Does that make sense? It's an interesting thing because when you are in a place where it feels safe and emotionally feels safe to challenge your body physically, then there's some magic that can happen there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big nuance because I think when we're younger or before we do theta, we feel that those two things are collapsed. Does that make sense? Because there's also that mindset that you see in some groups of you have to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough, which I just don't subscribe to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't have to. But it's interesting to have cleared so many shamanic beliefs and to be coming back into shamanic practices from a different viewpoint. Because I don't know if I shared with you when I first studied theta healing, my runes broke, and I was told not to do any of my old shamanic practices until I'd worked on things,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of what Viana talks about, or we talk about in Basic and Advanced about how we get to have access to all seven planes without the oaths, vows, and conditions. So it's really cool to be in this experience where I got to really feel what that felt like to access different planes without having to pay the prices that our ancestors did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somehow I'm feeling it around the
Yeah.
throat chakra. So there's probably some answers around expression and everything. Mm.
Oh, I was singing this morning and I normally don't. So yeah, there's definitely something that gets unlocked with each one. But I also had to push through because I thought I was going to throw up several times.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a whole roller coaster. But it's interesting because like I keep getting the like I we talked about before, like I keep being told that I have to stay here and learn from different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really blessed that I'm back to learning because that there's actually a few shamans I'm working with right now. But
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I love what you're saying because, just for context, right? When we do the intuitive anatomy course, we talk about these different detoxes. And because Vayana is helping people who are very spiritual and also people who are dealing with health challenges, and it's essential, right, to have more access to spirituality, to have a um, clear foundation, because we might be hearing our intuitive senses might be cluttered by some of the trash that's inside our body, right? So the importance of detoxing. Um, but then definitely when we look at it more as a practice, right? So for example, I've done many times the master cleanse, these kinds of things, 10 days, 20 days. It's you're in brain waves, in theta brain waves, because then you're much more clear, but it might for some of the people that I know, like they don't get past the second or third day because it makes them tired. So you need to be clear enough to have access to doing it comfortably. And then another thing that I did many times, with the Vipassana retreats, where, then it's like you're tapping into this six plane equanimity, in like something wonderful happens, you stay comfortable, something terrible happen, you're still accessible to yourself. So I think it's, yeah, it feels to me it's like it's not like spiritual push-ups, but yeah, definitely when you take out of this idea of an initiation of a death door in order to step into our powers, is just it just might be the last couple of beliefs that our lineage needs in order to have access comfortably to all the different planes. And yeah, what you're saying speaks a lot to me because like sometimes people come to these trainings and they're mainly connecting to the fifth plane and then it's loud. And so we're not going to say stop talking to your guides, but at the same time, if we don't create an availability to the sixth plane or the seventh plane, right? So the runes would be the sixth plane. And so if we're just so um the habits that we have is to only tap into one plane, it might be limiting. So how to create that availability and wisdom from all the planes, it comes all in the right time. And that's one of the beautiful thing I love about Theta Healing is it makes all of our knowledge, right? Because people have been in personal development for years and spiritual quests for years, and they know stuff. It puts it in context. So then it's more about like becoming empowered, like Marianette was saying, staying expanded in our light, and then comfortably honing our intuition, to be effectively, comfortably, joyfully stepping into our divine timing. So it is kind of like an alchemy, the beliefs and what the body does. Because without the body finding that kind of like level of purity, you're missing out on some spiritual insights because you just don't have the clarity. And yeah, because if we look at DNA 4 and it's like, and if we change like in person exchange knowledge with somebody that we trust, let me give you farming, and then let me like receive, right, pharmaceutical knowledge for somebody else. Like we really, when you trust somebody, you can exchange, right? But some of the stuff that you have from your ancestors, it's important that it finds its kind of like most distilled version so that then it can be evolved. So, like we're upgrading our lineage, but we're also bringing it to this world. So it's really exciting to see that you're going back to honing this kind of knowledge.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful to be in ceremony together too, and going back to community.
Mm,
So yeah.
great. Well, thank you so much for being here. It brings me joy because I'm curious about us together. And so I'll make a little recording and I'll share it with other people. And so let's see, let's connect together. And maybe as Marianette does in her WhatsApp group, and that sometimes meet, maybe we can all three of us, share a couple of downloads, that everyone needs. And so take a moment. Maybe Marianette, you want to go first?
Let's leave it that if I get something. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. So would you like to have the creator's perspective on how to cherish yourself, cherish your lifetime? Would you like to know that you're capable to see the next step without putting pressure on yourself? And would you like to know that your body is healing in the highest and best in a time that's comfortable for you? If so, say yes.
Yes.
And do you want to know that it's safe for you to evolve, and that as you evolve, you will always have a community, and that your communities will evolve and grow with you? If you want these, just say yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
And we can have the creator's perspective of gratitude, and that it's possible to have gratitude to ourselves for being who we are and taking the time for connection and healing our hearts. If so, say yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I will close it now in order to be respectful of your time, and I'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you, Flo, for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a joy to have you. Thank you.
Bye.